Welcome back. Today is the second day of Navratri. You can see I worn something in red. This is my homeware dress. I've been thinking of disposing it, but then see it had a purpose. That's the reason I kept it probably. For today I've got some red dresses, but some of them are not cotton. Even this is not that cotton, but it's some other material. It's not this red as what you can see there. It's bright red. Some problem with the color. Probably I should sit somewhere else, like my usual place. Then you can see how bright it is. This is not the color. So today is Ma Brahmacharini, it seems. We learn it every day when we read it, which is about virginity and a woman who is not yet married, who is not yet committed probably. That form of Durga is what we worship today. We are not going to talk about Navratri again. We will talk of something else because we have already spoken yesterday. Now everybody are familiar with what is happening now, that there is a festival called Navratri. It's time for us to move on from that. We will read about something else, speak about something else. I was thinking of talking about, yesterday I read a line which says, children see, children do. I really liked that, and I made a note of it, and I thought I could talk on that. And so what is, how much do you agree with that? Children see, children do. It's interesting to observe children from a distance, and you get to learn a lot of things from them, I was very passionate about it. In fact, I am still. And that is one area where you get to learn the most. Like I always say, as a teacher, we go to the classrooms thinking that we are going to teach them a lot of things. But in fact, it is children try to teach us a lot more things. We are not teaching them. Of course, we are teaching them, but more than that is what they teach us. And that's something we learn with time, and once we learn that, we are very observing. So this question, when I read that, I made a note of it. I thought that we could talk on that. Children see, children do. Is it right? Do you think it applies? Even for that matter, I've heard people say that even some of the adults are good in imitating others. What they see, they do, because there is a child within all of us which we try to hide within, and sometimes the child just pops out, that's all. So there is a child within us, of course there is, and I believe it's a talent, and it's a survival trick that we have to learn to keep that child alive all the way, no matter what age we are in. Because being a child is not being stupid. Being a child is like being intelligent. It's the intelligent you there is. And why are we trying to just hide that part and keep away the child within? We don't have to do that. So what does this make you think? A child see, a child does. Okay, we'll get back to that. Okay, let's get back to the question. I've come to my usual place. This is much better. The lighting is better than where I was standing, isn't it? So the question is, children see, children do. What can we talk on that? So my idea is that every child tries to imitate what they see around. As a child, I remember I have imitated a lot of people, especially if I like them in any way. I was very good in picking the good things that I see in others. What I wanted to see in me, I've always been picking it from others, and I've seen that children are good in that. Whatever there is, whether it is from the teacher, whether it is from the parent, whether it is from a stranger even, I think that children are good in picking what they see and what they want in them. And but then every child reaches a stage where he or she is able to think for themselves, and that stage is something that we all go through. It's not like a child has been seeing something and just doing that and it remains as a part of them when they grow up as an adult. It doesn't happen that way. So every child has a stage where he or she experiences growth and maturity, where they start thinking for themselves, where they start evaluating everything that they have learned and everything they have experienced in life. In that, I think education also plays a major role. Exposure, as I always said, it does. So many things matter when it comes, and every child goes through those stages where they have to think for themselves and decide whether this is what they are going to do, just because they have seen it at some point of time from someone. It doesn't have to stick with them all the way, and that is, I believe, a blessing that children see, children do, does not apply in the long run. We do change after a certain age because we have a mind of our own, and I've seen so many children who change after a certain age. Though you have been bringing them up in a particular way, after a certain age they think for themselves, they decide what they want to do, what changes they want in their life, and it's like, how do you change like this? This is not the way we wanted you to be. But they do change. They change because they have their own mind. And most of the things that we learn as a child is something that we learn from a limited surrounding. In the sense, our boundary is very limited. The people that those we have in our circle is very limited. But then as an adult we get exposure, we get to step outside, and we extend our boundary. There are so many people that we meet, right? And at those times we change because we are not the same, not living in the same well anymore. So this children see, children do applies only to childhood, not once the child is grown. It doesn't apply then. Then what applies is what is that you accept in your life, and what is that you want to let go. These two things matter. Some of the things you decide to let go, though you have been following as a child. You've been just experiencing something, and out of fear, probably most of the children do a lot of things because they fear. There is an element of fear. They fear so many people. They fear it's out of fear, a lot of things that children do. Have you not experienced that? But that fear element disappears once you are a grown-up, once you are an adult. So you take your own decisions, and you decide what you want to do and what you don't want to do. So as a child, probably it is true that you see, you do. It is true as a child, but not the same as an adult. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. It's a very interesting question. You can talk and that, but this is what I believe, that it's okay if children are doing what they see, but it will not be forever. There'll be a time when they will change, and when they will decide for themselves what they want to keep and what they don't want to. Have you not left off so many habits or so many beliefs that you had as a child? After a while you changed them, and why did you do that? You could have kept those beliefs, and you could have just done the same things over and again even as an adult, but you never did it. You changed it. That's because you have a mind of your own after you are matured. That is usually it happens when you are 20, around 20, That fear element no longer holds you. You don't fear people, you don't fear that somebody is going to punish you for something just for being who you are. It doesn't apply with you. It was very easy to be thrusted upon as a child, but you cannot do it to an adult. So children do a lot of what they see, but it's useless because as a child they'll do it, but once they are grown up, they think and decide what they want to hold on to and what they want to let go. It changes. So this idea of children see, children do does not apply at all. It changes after a while, and that is a good fortune, I would say. I'm so happy it is there. Imagine that everybody, even monkeys do what they see. Monkeys are like see what they do. They are like that. So children, are you saying that children are like monkeys? They do whatever they see around? They don't do whatever they see. They do only for two reasons. One is because they like to do those things, and the second thing is because they fear somebody is going to punish them. They fear to break out of the chains that is they are put into. That's the only two instances when children do what they see without thinking whether they want to do that or not. That's how it is. And it doesn't apply once they are grown up. It does not apply at all. They walk out of it once they are grown up. And that is something we wait for, because I believe that you should use your mind and decide whether this is the kind of the thing that we want to do, whether this is the kind of the life we want to live. All these decisions must come from within you. And it should not be that it is imposed on you out of fear or out of helplessness. No. There is no such thing as helplessness, It's just an assumption there is. You have ways to break out of it. And so that's how it is. So that is my view on children see, children do. Children see, children do out of only two reasons. One is if they really like some person, or whether they like to do those things. Then they see and they do, as we all do, and it is called as imitation. But the second reason why children do is out of fear. Fear factor plays a great role in children's life, because they are pressed down by the fear of so many things, not being able to voice their needs and not being able to voice their feelings and thoughts. That applies to children to a lot extent. So that's about it. I wanted to talk on this. So every day you come across a few questions, and it's pretty interesting to make a note of it, and probably you could speak to someone, or you could write an article on that. You have like blogging, so this is also something similar to that. Well, whenever I come across something very interesting, I make a note of it, and I just think of what is my view on that. Having opinions is not a wrong thing, but trying to have it imposed on other people is wrong. To have opinions is okay. You need to have them. Unless you have opinions and unless you know how to express them, you become a dumb person. You become an idiot. Good for nothing. So we don't want more idiots. We have enough of idiots already. So because of that reason, you need to have your own opinions and find platforms where you can express your opinions. It's very important. Find platforms, you will find enough of it. And if all the platforms are closed, do what I am doing. Like this, you can do that. This is a great training for you if you make videos of yourself, because tomorrow when you have to speak somewhere, your thoughts just flow out of your head to your mouth. It comes out of your mouth, just like how your thoughts flow out to the pen, right? So that's how it is. Tomorrow's color is what is the color? Royal blue. I don't think I have a royal blue dress, but I'll just check if I have. I did have, but now it is stone. So whatever blue I have, I'll have to manage with that. Not a royal blue. I think royal blue is so much like this, not exactly this, but a lot like this. So If I have it, I'm going to wear it. If I don't, then let's see what to do. Some other blue, we will just manage with some other blue. Okay, so have a good time. Whether you're in Japan, whether you are in India, wherever you are, have a nice time. And today, what did I read? I read a lot about yoga, which you can strengthen your legs. And so I'm thinking of doing all these yogas. It's really good. I would like to look for some person who is trained in yoga so that you can join. You do need someone to instruct you, to rightly guide you, like the timing you have to do each pose and the correct posture as well, because posture matters a lot. If you do it slightly in a wrong position, then it is going to do harm than to do any good for you. So we need to watch out on the posture, and we need to watch out on particularly the posture, how to go into it, and how to open yourself, and how to release yourself out of that pose. All these things we need to learn. So yoga is a great mode of exercise for strengthening your muscles. And you need, if your muscles are not strong enough, you have these aches and all these discomforts, because our lifestyle, including the time that we sit in a place, when we have to work in a sitting posture, it can put your muscles on a toss. So you need to have some strengthening exercises which you add on to your schedule. So yoga is really good for that. So that is what mainly I read through that today. Apart from the many other things that I read today, most importantly I read that. So I'll be back tomorrow. It's too bright today, and I'm trying to do something about it, and it's not going. It's too bright, right? I don't know. Sometimes it's like that. Now it's much better. See, wherever I bring the lighting, it's still bright. Can't help it. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow with something interesting. Another question. I have some questions. I made a note of them. Whenever I see some interesting questions, I just make a note of them. So I'll be back. We will talk on that tomorrow. Okay. Have a good day.